I'm Judy Stiles. Thank you for joining us this week on Newsmakers. Well, there are many nonprofit and community organizations doing good in our Joplin region, and today we're going to focus on a special opportunity to help some of those organizations, Give Joplin Day. And joining me, we have Pete Ramsour with the Joplin Regional Community Foundation, Stephanie Meeks with Love and Grace, and Amia Warren with the Boys and Girls Club. Thank you for being here today.
Delighted to be here.
I guess, Pete, we'll start off when people say the Joplin Regional Community Foundation. How do you define that for them? If someone were to say, well, what are we talking about?
Well, we are one of 49 affiliates under the umbrella of the Community Foundation of the Ozarks. Mm-hmm. Ours, we were joined with Carthage as a Southwest Missouri affiliate for several years, and in 2012, shortly after the tornado, Carthage took their own identity and Joplin took theirs, and we're actually the Joplin Regional. We have Webb City and Carl Junction also with us. We are one of 49 affiliates under the Community Foundation of the Ozarks. Briefly, they have a little over $350 million in assets that they manage for charitable organizations, and they have about 3,200 funds. In Joplin, we have a little over $6 million under our umbrella, and we have, I think it's 86 funds now. So,
and they are based in Springfield. So
they are based in Springfield, yes. But we have our own local board that makes their own local grant-making decisions, and then through CFO in Springfield, we become eligible for other grants from outside of the area to bring dollars into Joplin.
So your local board of local community members who serve on the board?
Yes, 13 board members all live in Joplin, Webb City, or Carl Junction.
And I imagine the people who serve on the board really have a commitment to helping the community. They have a background in community service.
Very much so. They're all good, this is a hard-working board.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that what we're talking about today is the Give Joplin Day. Mm-hmm. Some people may say, well, I've heard a little bit about it in the past, but let's, I guess, get the nuts and bolts, the when and the date and all that type of information. What are we talking about this year?
Well, the actual date is July 19th. Mm-hmm. It'll run from noon to 6 at Panera Bread. We will have various media outlets covering it live, and we have 22 agency partners participating this year, and that's up from 10 last year. And each agency, through help from CFO in Springfield, has set up their own platform for their own giving, and each is a project-based goal that they set, and the number of, they speak to their patrons and their friendly donors and try to encourage them to support them on July 19th.
Right. So as agencies, then you work with your respective boards and your directors and say, what do we want to accomplish this year? Then you determine what you would like to seek, tying that together. So I think for the audience, I want to let each of you introduce your organization as well. As far as you said 22 different organizations, 2 out of the 22 represented. So Stephanie, telling me a little bit about Love and Grace.
Well, Love and Grace was established in February of 2014. We were set up to meet the needs of the community by providing home and case management services to young women who might be homeless or whose families are in crisis. Statistics indicate that Joplin could have up to 285 young women between the ages of 16 and 25 homeless in one calendar year. And we hope through our efforts that we're helping those young women to become productive citizens in our community.
Great. Okay, so you're serving a specific need within our community. And of course, Boys and Girls Club, how would you explain that for people who are watching?
Yes, the Boys and Girls Club was founded in 1957, and we currently have 3 sites, 1 in Joplin and 2 in Webb City. We provide after-school care for children 6 through 18, and we focus on education and healthy lifestyle and developing. And we also want to make sure that the children, they become productive citizens.
Okay. Now you mentioned after school, but you also have summer programs as well. So as we're recording this program in the summer, each of your agencies have active programs ongoing and working that together. So tell me about your interest from your agency perspectives of wanting to be part of Give Joplin Day. I'll start off with you, Amia.
Yes. So we provide transportation. We pick the kids up from school and we bring them to the after-school program. So what we would like to do is raise funds so that we can purchase vans, and the vans, they would be used to also take the children on field trips.
So transportation obviously being important. You have the centers, you just have to be able to get them to the centers.
That's correct.
For the services. How about your goals, Stephanie?
Well, we did this for the first time last year, and we were happy with the trial. It was the first time we'd ever done anything like this, and we were able to raise money to help us with our meal program. We provide evening meals for the girls about 5 nights a week. And this year, we want to focus on expanding that, if we can, to 7 nights a week and provide an evening meal for these young women that is based in nutritional needs as opposed to frozen pizza rolls.
So you get that good
Yes.
meals, good eating, and so
Yes.
forth. Do you have a specific location then where you serve these? Or
Yes, in our home, we are located over in Royal Heights area, and we have a dormitory style rooms where the girls live when they come to work with us.
Okay, great. So, Pete, I think I read that last year, $30,000, I think the range of what was raised last year.
I believe that's pretty accurate, and we're hoping for quite a bit more. As I told you, we had 10 agencies involved last year. We have 22 this year. So, and I think we're getting much more specific support from Springfield this year in terms of the technical setup of each agency partner's platform. And so we're looking for some big things. And I think the important thing, and these ladies pointed it out, is each agency, this is a project-based goal to help for buses, help for meals. Each agency has their own project.
So it's not just give us more money for our general
Yeah,
fund.
it's not a general fund type thing. This is to fund a specific project for each of our agency partners.
So what is the process? Do the agencies come to you and they're members of your organization? They say, okay, do they propose their project, get approval? How do they become part of the program?
Well, we have 28 agency partners, and I sent a letter to them, email, a couple of months ago explaining this. For very good reason. 6 of them couldn't. 3 or 4 of them just had recently run a day of giving
timing
types.
of when you can do that, right.
So early June, we had 3 people from Springfield come over, including the IT specialist, and we had a training session for about 2.5 hours at the chamber. And each of the agencies brought their laptops, and we kind of helped them set up. And then Matt Lemon, who directs this for us out of Springfield, I just contacted him this morning. In fact, he is following up with each agency. So they set their general platforms up, and then Matt gets back to each agency partner specifically to kind of tweak theirs so that it absolutely meets their needs for the best goals possible in raising funds for their projects. Yeah.
So do each of you serve as the point people then for your agency as far as coordinating the campaign and the operations?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about the planning that goes into that. You have the idea, how do we make it happen?
And so what we do is we currently we have 3 buses, and we pick up from 7 different schools in Joplin, and we use all of those buses. They make 2 trips, all of them, except for, we go on 5 trips. And that totals to 145 kids that we pick up. So what we would like to do is minimize those trips so that kids aren't waiting an hour plus after school.
So the schools don't they get out at the same time, but somebody's going to have to wait till it's their turn to be picked up.
That's correct.
So by having more vehicles, then you can say we can get them picked up and to the center faster to be able to get that
That's
together.
right.
So, okay. And I imagine those, just in the thinking of vehicles, you have a lot of miles perhaps on the existing vehicles as well.
Yes.
So tying that together. And then you mentioned the food aspect.
Yes.
That's a big jump from 1 day a week to 7 days a week.
Well, we're going from 5 days a week to the full week. We have used causemomentum.org, which is the platform that Community Foundation of the Ozarks has developed themselves with a partner in Springfield. And it's such an easy platform for us as agencies to use. I've got a little project running right now just to test it out, but it's such a easy way for our donors to go in and enter a few strokes themselves and be able to give as little as $5. So we like the fact that using a trusted crowdfunding platform for our local agencies, as opposed to going out and using some of the more maybe popular platforms for crowdfunding. Yeah. So I feel wonderful that I'm able to use this platform that was developed specifically for our local partners.
Let's talk a little bit more when we say the platform for our audience. They're saying, well, what are we talking about? You'll be able to go onto your computer and specifically make that contribution.
You can do it from your phone. You could do it from your watch if you wanted to. It's so easy. Just go to causemomentum.org and you're going to see Give Joplin Day, and you can pull down all of the participating agencies and look at each of the different projects that have been presented, and then you can donate to one or all.
Right. Now, you mentioned Panera Bread. Tell me about that aspect of the program. So we have people who can do it from the comfort of home or their office, but you also have something going on there.
Well, the gathering on the 19th, which is the day,
of giving, right?
is just kind of a rallying point. We have agency partners come in. We'll schedule them, and they may do a quick break at a local 12 noon news.
Okay. The newscast will be there to cover?
Right, the 5 o'clock news, the 6 o'clock news. But, you know, these are pretty live updates on the online, so you know exactly how many people and how the total dollars have given to Boys and Girls Club, to Love and Grace, to any of the 22 agencies that are a part of it. It is, as Stephanie said, it's kind of a proprietary platform that CFO has. They've developed it. You know, I might add, I told you we have $350 million of assets under the umbrella at CFO. Every single dollar is a charitable dollar. We are not a big Wall Street agency that has a little component for charities and industrials and this and that. We are 100% every dollar. And the 17 employees throughout CFO are all very dedicated to nonprofits and charitable organizations. They really don't care if the oil companies or the communication companies grow. These are nonprofit charitable dollars that they manage.
So in this case, we're talking Joplin. You're helping Joplin agencies, even if you go that list of 22.
And this does not run through us at all. We're just kind of the component to help them raise money. It goes directly into their funds that they have with the foundation. So, and it's 100% how they want to spend it. Now, hopefully if we collect it for fans and buses, we don't spend it on food, and if you collect it on food, you don't go out and buy a van. But that's kind of the way the program goes.
Great. Well, I know nonprofits everywhere are facing challenges of funding. So there's everybody has their own individual fundraisers, and then you have other umbrella organizations. Explain to me how this helps you, perhaps beyond what already exists in the community, being able to have this aspect of fundraising.
We've learned that online funding, it has been quite difficult in the past, but just having a central place where we can go to and a trusted partner who we can go through, it makes it a lot easier. And then we are able to not only reach, you know, one region, we can reach across the nation if we needed to.
So you could call up Grandma in Chicago and say, hey, we're doing this, you can go online and give money today.
Yes.
And help out with things like that.
Let's not make fun of grandmas and grandpas.
Yeah. No, but,
or high school friends.
Yes.
You don't have to live in Joplin to help out for Give Joplin Day. Tying that together. Also, what about the demographics? The nature of fundraising and giving money. Younger generation more likely to say, I'm going to go to the computer and click to give?
Absolutely.
Yes. I think one of the things that they told us during the training is that online giving was up 300%. Was that right? In the last
I don't think
few
it was
years?
that much, but it's tremendously up because you've got the 20, 30s, and 40s group. They don't have a bank account or a checking account.
Write that check and send it in, right?
You know, I don't think any of my kids even have a checking account anymore. You know, it's all online. Well, I'll write her a check, although I can probably figure out how to make a donation. But you know, those are the groups that are coming into their higher earning stages in their career. And it's so simple. I mean, you can sit there and drink a cup of coffee in your robe and make a donation, you know.
Now, throughout the day, what time do you actually open the doors or kick off, if you were to say, as far as this program is active? Do you have a starting time in the morning? Or
10 a.m.
So 10 a.m. you're saying, okay, it's
Yes.
time to start clicking the
Yes.
buttons and
Yes.
giving. Do you as agencies then get updates as you go along throughout the day?
Yes. Yes, we're planning on doing a large social media drive and to thank our existing partners and donors throughout the day. There'll be some surprises along the way.
And that's something that you can design separately
Yes.
from, say, the Boys and Girls
Yes.
Club. You can do your own
Yes.
thing.
This will be the Love and Grace Day of thanks to our donors and our partners. We have a lot of community members who donate time, and we want to thank them as well. So we are going to have some fun that day is the plan.
How about the Boys and Girls Club perspective? You'll be monitoring and participating throughout the day with some different things?
Yes, we have someone who handles the social media, so she will post updates throughout the day, and she would also thank the donors that we have and the potential donors.
Well, I know in the past, I think we talked about a year ago or so about the program that as you go along, sometimes there's awards to the organizations, that everybody's doing their own fundraising, but then the community foundations kind of steps in and helps out.
Yes, our local board has decided to grant $3,000 in prize grants to the agency partner that raises the most dollars gets $1,000, and second place gets $500. And then the agency partner that has the most donors gets $1,000, and second place $500. And of course, that will just go right on top of what they've already raised that day. So that that's an encouragement to our partners to roll up their sleeves and do it. And as the ladies alluded to, it's really up to each agency partner to promote this in the manner that they think will best serve their needs, whether it's social media, emails, newsletters, however they want to do it. They know their donor base better than we do, so their success is pretty much up to them.
So that you're putting the effort in to reach those people that you know that you want to reach and so forth. Do you find that the fact that maybe perhaps you have, say, 22 agencies and somebody sees that long list and says, oh, I'm going to give to them, but I didn't know they also need help. Does that happen sometimes? People make those comments?
I don't think it dilutes it, because I think the people that take the time to go there are in a charitable mood when they get there. Now, they may be a little, wow, I like 4 of those agencies. Do I give them each 10 or 140? But that's certainly up to them. But, what Community Foundation does is try to get it out there and let people make their decisions as where their charitable dollars will be spent.
Now, giving, we hear a lot, of course, around the holiday season, the time of giving, and is summer sometimes a dip in the time where you have to really put more extra effort to remind people we're still here, we still need help?
Yes, definitely.
So having this program in July really helps you as far as that extra boost for programs like this.
It's very helpful. And also to make people aware of all of the different charities there are and nonprofits in our community. I think last year for us it served as a huge awareness activity that people who didn't know that we existed, because we're fairly new and young, that they became aware of us, and that helped us a great deal.
So $5 is the minimum for giving. So do you find that some people that, they think, well, I can't give a lot, but that $5, I feel like I'm making a difference? You get those responses?
Absolutely. Every little bit counts, and the main point is that you're helping kids in need. You're helping kids get the education. You're helping them get to a place where they're safe, because we know that crime increases for juvenile between the times of 3 and 7 p.m. So if they're at the Boys and Girls Club, we provide that transportation for them to get there. The parents and family members, they can know that they're safe.
And in the summertime, you have those programs, you're taking them out into the community using those vans to go on, I will call it field trips or activities and so forth.
Yes, and everything, the kids are having fun, but they're always learning. I know our teens, they use the vans to go on college tours. It's all educational based.
So they're benefiting from that in many different ways.
Yes.
And tying that together. The community education aspect, as far as even just looking at your list of organizations, I imagine a lot of people say, you know, we have a lot going on in Joplin that people don't realize.
You know, there really is, and I want to comment on something Stephanie said, that you know, they became an agency partner and felt like their awareness came up. That's a two-way street. With our list of agency partners and other groups that have funds with us, that gives us credibility as to what we're doing. If you've got $20-some million coming through our fund to help fund the new medical university here, you've got funds coming through Connect to Culture. These are capital campaigns. Empire Market, those are capital. But the job these agencies do day in and day out, you know, that adds credibility to what we as a local community foundation are doing, and we're just so pleased to have that association and relationship with all these local agency partners. So
And that's
it helps us too, ladies, believe me, it does.
We appreciate you, Pete.
And that's something people may not realize as far as the foundation's role year-round, that you are helping out a lot of different ways here in our community.
And we have, we're going to have a mental health seminar in September, mostly with youth, but for, you know, focused at youth. But, you know, the opioid situation, the teen suicides, the you know, addictions and other matter. We're going to have an all-day seminar addressing that. We even provide the lunch. It's free to our agency partners, you know. These are things that the foundation, and this came through Springfield, but they're sending the trainer over, and we're going to invite, I mean, it would apply to both of your agencies, you know, and we try to address issues that are common, whether good or bad, in the community. This is one that's not a good issue, but we hope to make the community a little better by addressing this
So
issue.
that role going beyond just we're here as a vehicle for raising
Yeah,
funds. You know,
we don't just help them raise some interest money after they've collected their funds. We just, you know, our goal is to make Joplin a better place to live.
Great. Well, how do you come up with ideas? As your board meet on a regular basis and say, you know, what can we do, or how do you come up with
We
ideas?
meet monthly, and we have a very solid, hardworking board, you know, from a variety of backgrounds, variety of ages, and I would say there's probably not 13 people in this community that have their finger as a group on what's going on any better than ours does. And because we're not specific to boys and girls, or we're not specific to young women, and
all those different
kind
causes,
of yes, and so you know, the community's been very generous, and I think again, our mission is just to help collaborate and work together with other agencies to make Joplin a better place to live and work and raise a family.
We talked about changes in generational giving and so forth. Do you see that people giving to organizations such as foundations, evolution there? Perhaps, I'm thinking on the other side end of the spectrum, the older people who might be saying, you know, I have some money to leave. What can I do? Do they go through organizations like the foundation?
They do. The community foundations have just grown exponentially in the last 10 or 12 years. And frankly, the new tax law made somewhat of a difference. With the higher standard deductions, people are using a term they call bundling. And they will put, you know, if they're going to give X number of dollars over a 2-year period, they'll put all that in 1 year, and it becomes tax deductible that first year, but then they can gift it out of their fund in the second year. So if you're going to give $10,000 to your church in 2 years, you put $10,000 in this year, it's tax deductible, and the foundation writes the checks over a 2-year period at your direction. So, and those are individual type funds, but which we basically have two types of funds, you know, individuals and then the agency partners. So
if people are interested in that aspect, as I say, you know, we hear so much about the aging baby boomer generation and the fact that there is, I think I've heard a statistic, a lot of wealth that older people have that they didn't have years ago, that they're looking to help others. That's an option for people.
And wealth isn't cash only. We've taken boats, we've taken art, we've taken jewelry, we've even taken property. Now, what, you know, our policy is no matter what we get, we liquidate, you know, not cash. Sell that boat, we're going to sell that boat, we're going to sell that land, we're going to sell that piece of art, and then the proceeds from that will go into their individual fund. But you know, it's we kind of joke. You know, a farmer's got 10,000 acres, but he's got $12 in his checking account. Well, he's rich. You know, he just doesn't have a lot of cash right now.
The cash definition of being rich versus owning things. And so forth. And I know your organization also gives grants throughout the year to organizations. There's probably a process for them to request additional support for things.
Yes, we have we try to have a grant-making session in the spring and another one in the fall, and we ask if they're directed agency partners, which almost all of them are. You know, we ask them to fill out a grant request form, and then we have a grant committee that reviews these, and they make their recommendations to the board. Ultimately, the board has to approve them, but it's
another way to help the organizations throughout the community and so forth.
And we just get, you know, I'm going to give Salvation Army a plug. We had their Midwest division out of St. Louis said, we've got a little extra money in our disaster relief fund. Do you have any needs? They said this to Springfield. They sent out emails to the affiliates. We helped the community clinic. They're putting a new roof on next month. And we had a nice substantial portion of that that came through Springfield through CFO.
Good.
So
working
we try to help our agency partners outside of just the Joplin umbrella.
Right. So for review for our viewers who may have turned in late, we're talking about July 19th. So if they have supported you in the past, there's obviously they can find out from you. But if they're unfamiliar, they can go to. Is there a central website they can go to? I know we have the Community Foundation website that will direct people to locations.
Well, I think last year we ran a lot through a Facebook page for the Joplin Regional Community Foundation, and then each of us individually will guide people and direct people to the causemomentum.org site, which will have the Give Joplin information and link provided to reach all of the different agencies. Of course, I'll probably be guiding them through Instagram and Twitter.
So
and
any social media
media that day will be used and used a lot.
And if someone doesn't have access to a computer or they want to give, can they show up at Panera Bread and say, somebody have a laptop available?
We'll take a check at Panera Bread. And, you know, if they get the message ahead of time and they want to drop a check off at the Boys and Girls Club or Love and Grace or any of the agencies, you know, on the 10th of July, it'll go into that.
Okay. So it's not limited, you know, if they want to give, there's opportunities.
Yeah, there's opportunities.
Yes. Well, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us today and sharing information with our audience.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to thank the viewers. Thank you for being here today for Newsmakers. I'm Judy Stiles. Hope you can join me again next week at the same time on the station. We'll see you then.